while the Bigfoot is right now in that realm of legend.
For years, fans of Expedition Bigfoot have wondered what really happened behind the cameras and why certain questions were never fully answered. Theories spread, debates intensified, and the silence only deepened the mystery. Now, that silence has finally been broken. Mireya Mayor is speaking out, and what she's revealing is reigniting conversations that many believed were long settled.
It's huge. This is the biggest heat signature I've ever seen. It's huge. And now there's another one to the left. There's multiple creatures walking.
So is this the missing piece viewers have been waiting for? Or does it raise even bigger questions about everything we thought we knew? The hunt for Bigfoot begins. For generations, the mystery of Bigfoot has captured the imagination of millions. The stories have traveled from one person to another, like whispers carried by the wind, growing more fascinating with every retelling. Deep within the vast forests, towering mountains, and remote wilderness of North America, many believe a giant, human-like creature quietly roams beyond the reach of civilization. Some describe it as an enormous ape covered in thick, dark hair. Others insist it is an intelligent but elusive creature that has somehow managed to avoid human discovery. Still, many dismiss the entire idea as nothing more than an entertaining legend with no basis in reality. As the years passed, the mystery only became more popular. Newspapers published strange eyewitness accounts. Television documentaries explored unexplained encounters. Radio hosts debated the possibility of an undiscovered species, while countless discussions filled books, websites, and online forums. Every new footprint, blurry photograph, or chilling forest story seemed to spark another wave of excitement. Yet, despite decades of investigations and endless debates, no one has produced the kind of undeniable evidence that could convince scientists and skeptics around the world that Bigfoot truly exists. Many believe the Bigfoot search has entered a new era through Dr. Mireya Mayor and the Expedition Bigfoot team. Using advanced technology, scientific methods, and carefully planned expeditions instead of folklore alone, they investigate remote wilderness areas, renewing global curiosity and hope of uncovering evidence behind the enduring mystery. The legend itself is far older than modern television or internet discussions. Long before the name Bigfoot became famous, many Native American tribes shared stories of a massive, hairy being that lived deep within the forests and avoided contact with humans. These traditions were passed down from one generation to the next, preserving the mystery for hundreds of years. As settlers spread across Canada and the United States, similar reports continued to emerge from different regions, adding even more intrigue to the legend. History has repeatedly shown that nature still holds remarkable surprises. Scientists continue to discover new animal species in remote corners of the world, proving that not every mystery has already been solved. Could Bigfoot be another undiscovered creature waiting to be confirmed? That question remains unanswered. Until clear, undeniable evidence is found, the legend will continue to stand at the fascinating crossroads between folklore, science, and one of the world's greatest mysteries. But what kind of creature is Bigfoot? Is there any description that is believed to fit the description? Let's delve into the details of the mysterious giant that was said to roam North America's wilderness. The enduring mystery of Bigfoot. For generations, stories have circulated about a mysterious giant that is said to roam the deep forests and rugged mountains of North America. Known as Bigfoot or Sasquatch, this legendary creature has become one of the world's most famous mysteries. Although no one has been able to prove that it truly exists, tales of encounters continue to capture the imagination of people from every corner of the globe. According to countless eyewitness reports, Bigfoot is described as an enormous ape-like creature, with a powerful and muscular body. Witnesses often estimate its height to range from about 6 to 15 feet, while its weight is believed to fall somewhere between 300 and well over 1,000 pounds, approximately 140 to 450 kilograms. It is usually said to be covered from head to toe in thick, dark brown, black or reddish fur. Many descriptions also mention a broad chest, long, powerful arms, a heavy brow above its eyes, and unusually large feet that can leave footprints measuring between 15 and 24 inches long. These oversized footprints are the very reason the creature earned the name Bigfoot. People who claim to have seen the creature often say it walks upright, like a human, rather than on all fours like most apes. Despite its enormous size, it is frequently described as moving with surprising speed and agility through dense forests, rocky hills, and steep mountain slopes. Witnesses commonly report that it disappears into the wilderness within seconds, making it almost impossible to follow. Others describe hearing strange howls, eerie whistles, loud wood-knocking sounds, or heavy footsteps echoing through the trees. Some even claim that a strong, foul odor filled the air shortly before or after the creature appeared. Legends of giant, human-like beings living in the wilderness are not new. For centuries, many indigenous communities across North America have preserved stories of mysterious forest dwellers, each culture giving the creature its own unique name and place in its traditions. The modern Bigfoot legend, however, gained worldwide attention in 1958 after newspapers reported the discovery of enormous footprints in Northern California, introducing the name Bigfoot to the public. Since then, thousands of people have reported sightings and presented photographs, videos, footprint casts, and even hair samples as evidence. The most famous piece of alleged evidence remains the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film, which appears to show a large, hairy figure walking through a California forest. Supporters believe it captures a real, unknown creature, while many scientists argue that it is more likely a person wearing a costume. Today, the scientific community does not recognize Bigfoot as a real species, viewing the legend as a combination of folklore, mistaken identity, hoaxes, and eyewitness errors. Even so, the mystery refuses to fade. Books, documentaries, television shows, films, podcasts, and wilderness expeditions continue to keep the legend alive, ensuring that Bigfoot remains one of North America's most enduring and fascinating mysteries. But has there been any scientific explanation about the mystery? What does science say about the legend? Let's dive into the details of the decades of investigation without conclusive proof. Science versus the Bigfoot legend. For generations, the mystery of Bigfoot has captured the imagination of people around the world. The possibility that a giant, human-like creature might be hiding deep within the forests of North America has inspired countless scientific studies, private expeditions, and amateur investigations. Determined to uncover the truth, researchers, wildlife experts, and enthusiastic explorers have spent decades searching for convincing evidence that could finally settle one of the world's greatest modern mysteries. Yet, despite years of effort, the question remains unanswered. According to reports, investigators have carefully examined almost every kind of evidence ever linked to Bigfoot. These include enormous footprints, strange hair samples, photographs, video footage, plaster casts of footprints, mysterious sounds, and hundreds of eyewitness reports. At first glance, some of these discoveries appeared promising and even exciting. However, whenever scientists subjected them to careful testing, none produced the level of proof required to confirm the existence of an unknown species. One of the earliest and most famous areas of research focused on the giant footprints reportedly discovered in the forests of the Pacific Northwest. These unusually large tracks sparked excitement and attracted experts from different fields. Detailed studies were carried out, but many of the footprints were eventually exposed as carefully planned hoaxes made with carved wooden feet or other tools. The remaining prints lacked enough reliable evidence to convince scientists that they had been left by an undiscovered creature. Perhaps the most debated piece of evidence is the famous Patterson-Gimlin film recorded in 1967. For nearly 60 years, researchers have analyzed every frame of the footage. Supporters believe it captures a genuine unknown primate calmly walking through the forest. Skeptics, however, argue that the figure's movements and appearance are entirely consistent with a person wearing a well-made costume. Despite decades of debate, no scientific agreement has emerged declaring the film to be authentic proof of Bigfoot's existence. Scientists have also examined alleged hair, blood, tissue, and DNA samples collected from supposed Bigfoot encounters. Thanks to modern genetic technology, these specimens have been tested with increasing accuracy. Time after time, the results identified them as belonging to familiar animals such as bears, deer, horses, cows, dogs, or even humans. Not a single verified biological sample has revealed the presence of an unknown giant primate living in North America. Researchers also point to a simple but important question. If a creature as large as Bigfoot truly existed, it should leave behind far more than occasional footprints or blurry photographs. Scientists would expect to discover bones, fossils, nests, carcasses, or evidence of breeding populations. Yet after decades of searching, none of these have been found. Even so, the mystery refuses to fade. Dedicated enthusiasts continue organizing expeditions using drones, trail cameras, audio recorders, and advanced environmental DNA technology. Although these efforts keep the legend alive, the scientific community continues to conclude that Bigfoot remains an unverified creature with no credible physical evidence proving it is real. What is Dr. Mireya Mayor bringing to the discovery table? Why is she coming on board? Let's find out. The scientific hunt for Bigfoot. For decades, stories about Bigfoot have come mostly from everyday people who believe they encountered something extraordinary deep in the wilderness. Hunters, campers, hikers, and local residents have all shared accounts of hearing heavy footsteps, seeing a towering shadow move between the trees, or catching a brief glimpse of a massive, hairy figure before it disappeared into the forest. While these stories have fascinated millions, they have also sparked endless debate. Without clear proof, many people remain unconvinced, leaving Bigfoot caught somewhere between folklore and reality. From time to time, new photographs and videos appear online, each one promising to reveal the mysterious creature once and for all. Yet, the excitement rarely lasts. Most of the images are too blurry to show anything clearly, while the videos are often shaky, filmed from a distance, or cut off just as something unusual appears. In many cases, later investigations reveal that the supposed creature was simply a bear standing upright, another wild animal viewed from an odd angle, or even a carefully planned hoax. Because of this long history of unreliable evidence, skeptics argue that Bigfoot sightings are nothing more than mistaken identity, vivid imagination, or deliberate deception. As a result, the mystery has remained trapped in the realm of legends instead of being accepted as scientific fact. That is what makes Dr. Mireya Mayor's investigation so different. Unlike many who search for Bigfoot out of curiosity or a desire for attention, she approaches the mystery with the discipline and careful methods of a professional anthropologist. Her years of scientific training have earned her respect, and her involvement immediately gives the search a new level of credibility. She is not interested in sensational headlines or creating another unbelievable story. Her goal is much simpler, yet far more challenging: to discover the truth, wherever it may lead. Every step her team takes is guided by patience and careful planning. They move quietly through thick forests, avoiding unnecessary noise that might frighten away any unknown animal hiding nearby. Rather than relying on guesswork, they use advanced scientific equipment designed to collect reliable evidence. Professional 16mm cameras capture detailed images, while thermal imaging devices detect heat signatures even in complete darkness, allowing the team to observe movements that ordinary cameras could easily miss. These are serious research tools, chosen because clear evidence is the only way to convince both scientists and the public. Still, the expedition is not without danger. According to countless eyewitness reports, Bigfoot is an enormous creature, often described as standing well over 7 feet tall, weighing more than 1,000 pounds, and possessing incredible strength beneath its thick, shaggy coat. Encountering such a being alone in a dark forest would be an unforgettable and potentially frightening experience. Fully aware of these risks, Dr. Mayor has carefully prepared both herself and her team, ensuring they remain calm, alert, and ready to face whatever may be waiting in the wilderness. So, how did Dr. Mireya approach her search? Did she do anything differently from what others did before her? Let's dig into the details of Dr. Mireya Mayor's search of the dark forest at night. The hunt begins after dark. As the sun disappears behind the mountains and darkness slowly covers the forest, the Expedition Bigfoot team knows their real work is only just beginning. While most people would avoid such remote places after nightfall, the investigators believe the mysterious creature they are searching for may feel safer moving under the cover of darkness. If Bigfoot truly exists, nighttime could be when it leaves its hiding place, making every hour after sunset especially important. Working in the forest at night is anything but easy. Thick trees block the little moonlight that reaches the ground, leaving the team surrounded by almost complete darkness. Every step must be taken with care. Uneven ground, hidden rocks, fallen branches, and steep slopes make walking dangerous. Endless forests, towering mountains, and deserted roads stretch for miles in every direction, creating an eerie feeling of isolation. Even the smallest sound, a snapping twig, rustling leaves, or a distant howl, can make everyone's heart race. Despite the fear that naturally comes with exploring such an unforgiving environment, the team remains focused, driven by the hope of making an incredible discovery. Instead of depending on bright flashlights that could scare away wildlife or reveal their location, the investigators rely heavily on advanced thermal imaging cameras. These special devices detect heat rather than visible light, allowing them to see warm objects glowing brightly against the cool background of the night. A hidden animal, or perhaps something far more mysterious, can suddenly appear on the screen even when it is completely invisible to the naked eye. For the team, this technology offers one of the best chances of capturing convincing evidence without disturbing whatever may be watching from the shadows. Then came a night none of them would easily forget. As they quietly scanned the forest, one of their thermal cameras detected a powerful heat signature beside a large tree near the edge of the woods. Everyone stopped moving instantly. The glowing figure appeared unusually large, far bigger than most animals commonly found in the area. Moments later, it seemed to climb the tree with surprising speed, almost as if it wanted a better view of the investigators, or perhaps to hide from them. At the same time, deep, strange sounds echoed through the darkness. Sounds unlike those made by smaller forest creatures. A wave of excitement mixed with fear swept through the team. Whatever had produced that heat signature appeared to be aware of their presence and had responded to it. Moving cautiously, they tried to get a closer look without frightening it away or placing themselves in unnecessary danger. Within moments, the mysterious heat signature slowly disappeared into the darkness. Yet even after it was gone, the unforgettable image of those glowing eyes and the chilling silence that followed remained etched in their memories, leaving them wondering just how close they had come to solving one of the world's greatest mysteries. Did it look like they were getting closer to seeing Bigfoot? What was discovered? Let's take a look at the strange discoveries that raised more questions. Something watched from the shadows. As the investigation continued deeper into the wilderness, every step seemed to uncover another puzzling clue. The forest felt strangely quiet, as if it were hiding a secret that had remained untouched for generations. The team stayed alert, carefully studying every unusual sign they came across, knowing that even the smallest detail could bring them closer to solving one of the world's greatest mysteries. Before long, they stumbled upon a remarkable discovery. Several large trees had been pushed over in such a way that they formed a perfect triangle. The arrangement appeared far too organized to be the result of strong winds or natural decay. It looked intentional, almost as though something with incredible strength had carefully placed the trees there. The strange formation immediately raised new questions. Could it have been a landmark, a warning to stay away, or perhaps a boundary marking the territory of an unknown creature? The mystery only deepened, leaving the investigators eager to learn more. Determined not to lose momentum, the team continued toward an abandoned logging site that had gained a frightening reputation over the years. Local stories spoke of unexplained accidents, mysterious disappearances, and unsettling encounters that had never been fully explained. The location had long been surrounded by rumors, making it one of the most important places in their search. Among the investigators, Bryce was especially interested in one particular section of the old logging camp. According to available records, law enforcement had never completed a thorough examination of that area. Believing important evidence might still be waiting there, he carefully searched the ground, scanning for footprints, broken branches, unusual markings, or anything else that seemed out of place. As they moved closer to a nearby riverbed, the atmosphere suddenly changed. Their thermal equipment detected another mysterious heat signature moving through the darkness. It was large, warm, and unlike anything they expected to find in such a remote location. Whatever it was, it seemed to be keeping its distance while quietly observing every move the team made. The realization sent a wave of excitement mixed with growing anxiety through the group. Dr. Mireya Mayor later recalled one of the most chilling moments of the expedition. Looking into the darkness, she noticed what appeared to be a pair of glowing eyes staring back at them. For a brief moment, it felt as though they were no longer the hunters, but the ones being watched. The experience left everyone both fascinated and deeply unsettled. They believed they were getting closer than ever to discovering the truth. Yet without undeniable physical evidence, the mystery remained unsolved. Still, the unsettling feeling that an unknown presence was silently following them through the forest only became stronger with every passing moment. Was Dr. Mireya able to lay her hands on anything that could bear the prints of Bigfoot? Was there any better result? Let's talk about the hair samples that puzzled the scientists. Strange hair defied scientific explanation. After months of tireless searching, following countless leads and exploring some of the most remote wilderness in America, the team finally found themselves deep in the thick forests of Northern California. For years, this region had been surrounded by mysterious stories, strange sightings, and unexplained encounters. Residents and experienced outdoorsmen had spoken of unusual activity in these woods, convincing the investigators that this was a place worth exploring. As they carefully searched through the dense forest, they stumbled upon something that immediately captured their attention. Hidden far from hiking trails and human activity were two enormous nest-like structures. These were unlike anything they had ever seen before. They were far too large to belong to ordinary forest animals, and their unusual design made them even more mysterious. The investigators began to wonder whether they had finally discovered evidence connected to the legendary Bigfoot. The mystery deepened when they inspected one of the nests more closely. Among the branches and leaves, they noticed several unusual strands of hair. The hairs looked different from anything they had collected before, making them one of the most promising discoveries of the entire expedition. Every member of the team realized they might be holding an important clue. Still, they remained cautious. Northern California is home to many large wild animals, including bears, wolves, and other mammals. It was entirely possible that the hares belonged to one of these well-known creatures. Rather than jumping to conclusions, the team carefully collected the samples, preserved them properly, and sent them to a professional laboratory for detailed scientific testing. The results were both surprising and frustrating. Scientists compared the hares with the DNA and physical characteristics of known animals living in the region. To everyone's surprise, the samples failed to match any of them. They were not from a bear, a wolf, or any other familiar woodland species. The laboratory could not identify exactly what creature had left them behind. Although the tests did not provide the final answer the investigators had hoped for, they revealed something equally fascinating. The unexplained hares became one of the strongest pieces of physical evidence the team had collected during their search. Instead of ending the mystery, the laboratory results made it even more intriguing. For the investigators, this discovery brought renewed excitement and determination. If the hares truly came from the elusive Bigfoot, they now possessed a valuable sample that could be compared with future evidence collected during other expeditions. Even without a definite identification, the mysterious hares suggested they were getting closer than ever before. Rather than discouraging them, the discovery strengthened their belief that they were following the right trail, and that the truth hidden within the forests of Northern California might finally be within reach. Are there any stories from witnesses? Was it able to give further explanations? Let's delve into the details of the witness stories and the journey to Alaska. Mysterious screams. Spark. Dangerous expedition. One chilling story from a local witness immediately caught the team's attention. He recalled working at a logging site deep in the forest when an unsettling event unfolded. Without warning, several experienced lumber workers burst out of the woods in fear after hearing strange, terrifying cries echoing through the trees. The sounds were unlike anything they had ever heard. They resembled the desperate screams of a woman in distress. Yet everyone on the site knew that no women were working there that day. The mysterious cries seemed to come from somewhere deep within the wilderness, leaving everyone shaken. Even years later, those who worked in the area admitted that the memory still haunted them, becoming one of the forest's most disturbing unsolved mysteries. The witness's account convinced the Expedition Bigfoot team to investigate Prince of Wales Island, Alaska. Known for dense forests, towering mountains, and vast wilderness, the island's isolation provides the perfect refuge for elusive wildlife. Its hidden valleys and remote terrain could easily conceal a large, intelligent creature for generations. Their investigation centered on a remote 60-acre section of a lonely mountain, far from towns and busy roads. As the team surveyed the landscape from the air, they quickly understood why so many reports had come from this region. The island supports a rich ecosystem filled with healthy predators and abundant prey, providing everything a massive animal would need to survive. The breathtaking wilderness impressed everyone on the expedition. Dr. Mireya Mayor even described the region as the Galapagos of the North, highlighting its remarkable biodiversity and untouched natural beauty. Despite the excitement of exploring such an extraordinary place, the team remained cautious. Their mission was not to chase myths blindly, but to gather solid scientific evidence that could either support or challenge the Bigfoot legend. Every new clue strengthened their determination. They endured freezing nights, thick forests, difficult terrain, and the constant awareness that unknown dangers could be hiding nearby. Whether their search ultimately proves that Bigfoot exists or not, the expedition represents something greater: the relentless human desire to seek answers through patience, evidence, and science. For generations, stories of the mysterious creature have fascinated people around the world. Now, with experienced scientists leading the search, the line between legend and reality may finally begin to disappear, as Alaska's ancient forests slowly reveal the secrets they have guarded for centuries. For how long has the Bigfoot story lingered? What history is being recorded about Bigfoot? Let's dive into the details of the history of Bigfoot. from indigenous legends to a modern-day mystery. The fascinating history of Bigfoot. The story of Bigfoot, often called Sasquatch, reaches much farther back than most people realize. Long before movies, television shows, and internet debates made the mysterious creature famous, stories about a giant, hairy being were already being shared by indigenous communities across North America. These stories were carefully passed down from one generation to another through oral tradition. While each nation described the creature differently, many spoke of a large, human-like figure living deep within thick forests, rugged mountains, and remote wilderness. In some traditions, the being was seen as a powerful spiritual guardian of nature. In others, it was described as a shy and elusive creature that avoided people whenever possible. These ancient accounts became the earliest foundation of what is now known as the Bigfoot legend. As European settlers and explorers traveled across North America during the 19th and early 20th centuries, unusual reports began to appear more frequently. Hunters, travelers, and local residents claimed they had discovered enormous footprints in isolated areas or had briefly seen towering, ape-like creatures disappearing into the trees. Newspapers eagerly reported these strange encounters, fueling public curiosity and encouraging even more people to share their own mysterious experiences. Although many remained skeptical, interest in the creature continued to grow with every new report. The legend reached an entirely new level in 1958, after workers at a logging site near Bluff Creek, California, discovered a series of unusually large footprints. News of the discovery spread rapidly across the country, and journalists introduced the memorable nickname Bigfoot. The name immediately captured the public's imagination and soon became the most widely recognized title for the mysterious forest creature. Excitement grew even stronger in 1967 when filmmakers Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin recorded a short film that appeared to show a large, hairy figure walking through Bluff Creek. They believed they had captured a female Bigfoot on camera. The Patterson-Gimlin film quickly became the most famous and controversial piece of evidence ever connected to the mystery. Supporters argue that the creature's movement and appearance are difficult to explain as a simple costume, while skeptics remain convinced that it was nothing more than an elaborate hoax. Over the decades that followed, thousands of reported sightings surfaced across the United States and Canada, especially throughout the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest. Researchers and enthusiasts organized countless expeditions, collecting footprint casts, photographs, hair samples, audio recordings, and eyewitness accounts in hopes of proving the creature's existence. Even after centuries of stories and decades of investigations, no scientifically accepted evidence has confirmed that Bigfoot is real. Most scientists believe the reports can be explained by folklore, mistaken identity, deliberate hoaxes, or the power of human imagination. Even so, the mystery refuses to disappear. Bigfoot has become a lasting part of North American culture, inspiring books, documentaries, television series, films, festivals, and endless scientific discussions. Whether fact or fiction, the legend continues to spark curiosity, debate, and wonder, keeping people around the world fascinated by the possibility that an unknown giant still roams the wilderness. So, what do you think about the revelation from Mireya Mayor? Do you really think they would get the Bigfoot one day? We'd love to hear your opinions in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe.